Okay, we're here with take two of this Hades commentary run. Unfortunately, the first time my audio was so low that it was not picking up very well, so I'm gonna try this again. Okay, just to quickly start off, for my Mirror of Night talents, this is more or less what I'm running. I run everything with the dark side, aside from Stygian Soul, family favorite, Dark Foresight, and Fated Persuasion. A lot of these are self-explanatory. Fated Persuasion, you want to reroll a lot of stuff. Dark Foresight, very, very important. It gives you more high-quality rewards. So you want more boons and less of like the meta currencies, such as the Nectar or the Darkness or the Keys. And then Family Favorite, either this or Privileged Status, either is probably fine. I like Family Favorite a little better. Just because the damage bonus is instant. You don't have to stack debuffs to get privilege status effects. And yeah, Mirror of Night talents, not super important or different. Now, I will be using the Eris Rail, one of the strongest weapons in the game. I'll quickly go over the combo. The main combos I use: keepsakes and the heat. So you run Zeus Trinket because you need Zeus attack. It's by far the best attack boon in the game for the Eris Rail. I will explain why in a second. And for the heat, this is what I will be running. Normally I would put on two ranks of Tight Deadline and probably take off Jury Summons, because 7 minutes per region is pretty doable, pretty easy, I think. But because I'm going to be commentating a lot, I'm going to take off this timer. Talking about the heat choices, so for 32, most of this is standard, but if you wanted to make things a little easier, removing either forced overtime or the 4th level of extreme measures, so that the final boss only has 2 phases instead of 3, would make this fight easier. But if you're going for higher heat, eventually you'll have to turn this back on. And forced overtime, it makes the enemies move faster, so their movesets, their attack speed, their spawns, their movement speed, all faster. It's difficult to get used to if you are not... Yeah, it's just difficult to train yourself to get used to. So you'll have to use it eventually if you play in higher and higher heat. So I just keep it on just because it's challenging. Same with Extreme Measures 4. I'll briefly talk about some of the other options. Hard Labor and Lasting Consequences. Hard Labor is fairly punishing, but I would say Lasting Consequences even more so. This is because with Hard Labor, you're taking double damage. If you take, like, let's say you have a bad room and you take a shitload of damage, well, you can still heal that off and recover. With Lasting Consequences, taking those brutal rooms are much worse because you cannot recover from it. And if you have a Lasting Consequence at max, you have to use Stubborn Defiance instead of Death Defiance. Just makes things much harder. So I would say Hard Labor over Lasting Consequences. And Calisthenics Program is very deceptively difficult. Increases the boss HP durations as well, meaning you're going to be taking more damage from bosses, and your timer is going to be further up against the wall. You run the risk of timing out if you're running when you run tight deadlines, as you should. Benefits package and middle management, normal. Underworld Customs. Okay, this one is... I would not run this unless you have your Fated Persuasions. This makes you have to cleanse a boon every region, and you do not want to be cleansing stuff that's good, stuff that you want in your build. So if you get a bad set, you can reroll it, for example. And then damage control. This means that the first two instances of damage are ignored, which is pretty easy to play around with the rail. Okay, so very briefly, our combo for the rail is the way this rail this rail aspect works is the rocket explosion here. If you're inside of it, you get a 75% damage buff to everything that you do. So generally your combo is going to be to rocket the enemy, dash in, shoot them a bunch, take the explosion, continue hitting them. You want to shoot them before the rocket lands so that it's not getting absorbed by the damage control. You also want to be shooting them as they spawn, just to keep going faster and faster. Try and cut down these room times, which you should be doing with the tight deadlines. Okay, what else? Build. So you're going to be prioritizing Zeus boons the most out of everything for most abilities. Though Athena, Artemis, and Poseidon are all very good. Dionysus is okay as support. Ares is kind of meh. Athena, kind of meh. You generally want the Zeus, Aphrodite, Artemis, and Poseidon. And maybe I'll explain more as we go. Alright, I've got my Zeus trinket to force a Zeus boon for the beginning. And then we will go.
The pact is sealed.
You must accept that you are not like all the others here. Your differences do not make you deficient. They can make you strong. It's up to you.
My differences have made me strong, all right. Lord Uncle Zeus.
My greetings, young nephew. And more importantly, my blessing.
Okay, this is quite bad. We want the attack. Well, we need the attack, so I'm gonna roll. Yeah, and I'm gonna take the lightning attack. It is so important that if I didn't get it, I would probably just reset this run. It is very, very important. Very powerful too, as you just saw. The Zeus lightning attack chains lightning between enemies, so it's very, very good for crowd control, and it's very, very good for dealing with that damage control heat modifier. Now, something I should mention, and I'll be probably repeating this, the flat damage on boons, so lightning attack deals 13 flat damage, that is increased by our specials rocket. So any boon with flat damage is very, very powerful with this build. That includes Tidal Dash, which is something we will be hoping that we get here at some point. As well as Artemis's support fire boon. Multiplying the damage on those boons is a really big deal. I missed my rocket. Okay, so for a lot of these enemies, you want to watch them, and when they're attacking, generally the idea is to just dodge perpendicular. So for the tells, I look at these skeletons, it's pretty obvious. They start glowing and they do the little squishy thing. You just quickly dodge, take them out. A lot of the enemies in the game are like this, where if you're just watching them, you're watching the right part of their body or for the right little cue, you can get through. Okay, I don't really want Ares that much, but I actually have to give him Nectar, so I'll take him this time. And hopefully I can purge his boon at the end of the area. Okay, witches, generally against ranged enemies, you want to stay around the perimeter so that you're only getting attacked from one half. Yeah, same deal with this guy. Watch as he raises his right arm with the club, and he'll glow as he goes to attack you. Very basic stuff.
Lord Ares, as bloodshed has become somewhat of a necessity in my situation, I'm very grateful that you're with me in this. I know never to take it for granted.
You're most gracious with me, my kid, and I remain enthralled as ever by your blood-soaked way of life. I trust the violence I have wrought on your behalf has been quite satisfactory. You must know I often hunger for destruction, almost uncontrollably at that, though I am finding you are able to sate that appetite of mine.
Okay, we're gonna take Blood Frenzy. I don't particularly like Ares Call. I don't feel like it does a whole lot of burst damage, which is what I want. And if you already have a call, you are less likely to get offered other call boons from other gods. Okay, so here, coins in this run are worth much less because we have the heat modifier that makes prices 80% higher. So money, not very valuable. We have a hammer here. Now the thing about hammers is that the game will try to offer you hammers until you have 2 of them. It wants you to have 2. So if I skip this, it'll show me more hammers until I get 2. And chaos boons from here are typically quite good the earlier you get them. They cost a big chunk of health and usually some other negative effect, but they have very powerful benefits. And you want to be using your health. Your health as a resource, you want to be expending your health to make you more powerful. On this weapon, the attacks are not... the boons from Chaos are not as powerful because a lot of your damage comes from these auxiliary effects from your boons, like the flat Zeus damage or the flat Poseidon damage, and these boons that Chaos gives does not interact with that. So they're deceptive. Like, you're not actually getting as much damage as it says here, because it's only multiplying the flat 10 damage that the rail bullets do, and not the Zeus electric bullets, like the Zeus part of the damage, I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna take Halting Ambush. Pauper's Lunge is not bad because coins aren't very good. So if I don't earn them for 3 encounters, it's not a big deal. But it's a bit easier, I think, to proc the damage from behind instead. Okay, so here I'm probably going to take Athena. Or will I? Let me think about that for a second. So I'm not really getting the boons I want. I don't want Ares, and I don't really want Athena. But I do need to keep in mind that because I have the Underworld Customs, I will need something to give away at the end of the region. So taking like more boons that you might not want, is generally a good idea. So you can purge something, so you don't have to purge your good stuff. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go with Athena, just for the earlier reasons I stated. Alright, so I need to be mindful that my dash range is lower because of that Zeus, because of that Chaos boon. So for these enemies, you can see that some of them are translucent.
There we go. I know this ambrosia originated on Olympus, Lady Athena, though through its long voyage to these depths I trust its savor is more worthy of your grace. No one's ever had a greater cousin, and I'll never forget what you've done for me.
Zagreus, when Nyx revealed herself to me and I first learned of you, I saw it as an opportunity to bridge the great divide between Olympus and your father's realm. But having had all these glimpses into who you are, it is an even greater honor to have forged this partnership with you.
As I was saying, the translucent enemies They are like little shadow clone jutsus. Little shadow clones of the original ones. So you generally want to ignore the translucent ones, take out the actual solid ones. That'll kill the clones. Kill the clones.
I shall not keep you, Zagreus, except to offer you some of my power to improve your chances of escape. Now quickly choose and go.
Okay, so the reason why I don't particularly want Athena boons is because her damage is okay. Well, in all, her damage is actually not that great. This boon here, however, the Divine Dash, is very, very powerful. It makes your dash deflect. So basically, what it practically means is that when you dash, you end up having more iframes, more leeway to dash through an attack. It does add a little bit of damage because sometimes you can reflect attacks, but mostly it's for that increased survivability, which is why it's so powerful. Projectiles aren't too difficult to deal with at this heat, so it's mostly just for like that extra invulnerability. Divine Dash does not really add much damage. It, like, compared to like a Poseidon Dash, which is generally what we want, or an Athena Dash, which does more damage and has the weak effect on the enemies. So they're both generally more appealing to me. You want to be careful with Divine Dash that you are not like creating a crutch with it. Some players they'll get too lenient, or sorry, too sloppy with the way they're using their Divine Dash. And you know, their timing on dodges is bad and stuff, and they just crutch with the Divine Dash to make up for it. I might purge it if I get the opportunity. So here, I'm just moving around the perimeter, firing rockets, staying inside my rocket's explosion radius for the big damage. My lightning bolts, the chaining is doing lots and lots of damage. Kind of self-explanatory here. Oof, okay, now. Okay, on the right is what's called a duo room. It means if you do a harder room, you'll get both boons, which is very good. You want to be taking hard rooms if you can tolerate it, if you can not die, so you get permanently stronger. However, on the left is an Aphrodite room, and we really want Aphrodite boons. I'm going to take the Zeus, because I can always change my keepsake and force Aphrodite later. Okay, so when you're in these rooms, the god that you do not pick first will impact the environment, and it's different for every god. Some of them are really difficult to deal with, some of them not so much. Athena is probably the easiest to deal with, like damage-wise. You're not going to die. But her power makes the enemies invulnerable. So if you're running short on time, that can be like a very big deal, because it'll delay you. I'm going to take Zeus. I'm going to take Zeus's, let's see here. Okay, not particularly amazing. What I really want is something that gives jolted. It is called Static Discharge. So this is another flat damage, which, as you remember, is increased by the Eris Rail's explosive buff. So you really want those flat numbers, those, you know, from a lot of Zeus stuff. It's a big damage increase. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, but the extra lightning bounce is not bad, actually.
Are you testing the limits of my patience with you, Zagreus? Then I shall test your limits in turn.
Forgive me, Athena. Come on.
So with these fat enemies, you want to watch them closely. as they wind up their bellies and lean backwards, that means they're going to attack. So you want to start moving perpendicular. So you can easily slide by them.
I'm satisfied we understand each other better now, don't we? What do you say we carry on and get you from this place?
I'll take Blinding Flash, just because it'll purge for more money, because it's epic rarity. Okay, great. So here, so the thing about shops is that I can go into the shop and I'll only be able to buy one boon, really, which is okay. But I can otherwise go to Athena's room and get a single boon from Athena as well, and save my money, and then the next time I get a shop I can buy 2 boons instead. So it's more efficient, and I'm not hurting for time since, don't have a time limit on this heat. So for that reason, I don't think going to this store is a good idea. I think it's a mistake, and you want to go to Athena's room. As I said before, you want to be leveraging your health to get as powerful as possible. Okay, we're in the Explodey Boys room. So these guys will either throw bombs at you, or jump on top of you and throw bombs right underneath themselves. Okay. So the decreased dash range from my Chaos Boon is kind of coming into effect here. Taking a bit of damage. You do need to be careful when they die, because they will drop a bomb right underneath themselves. Alright, my Chaos Boon has finished. I don't have the penalty anymore.
Dearest, I've known many gods and goblins through the ages, and I have to say, you're quite intriguing, even for our kind.
Alright, yeah, we're going to be taking the Aphrodite special. So, because our special deals high base damage, we want a percent modifier, a nice strong percent modifier on it, which Aphrodite gives. She gives very strong percent modifiers. So it'll make our rockets do lots more damage. And it will make our rockets inflict weak, which will decrease the damage enemies deal to us. It's very, very good, especially against the bosses. I don't know if you saw, but Aphrodite will deal. Aphrodite deals 80% on the special at a base rank, and Athena only 60. So it's a pretty substantial difference. So very simple, just shooting them, letting my chain lightning carry me through the fight. Look, I leveled up. Blinding Flash, meh, that's not very good. I would like some palms. So for the way palms work is the first few palms you get have pretty substantial damage buffs, whereas every palm you get after that will give you like less and less of a bonus to your boon. Oh, like if I didn't explain it, palms upgrade your boons. They give them a +1 level, and basically just increase the numbers of what they do. So if it gives damage, it will deal more damage. If it gives you like damage resistance, you'll have more damage resistance, for example. Alright, what do we have here? There's a gem trove, and then a max health, and then a double palm Arabesque gate. If you're good, taking Erebus Gates is very often the correct decision, but I suck at Erebus Gates. They're floors that you have to clear without taking any damage, and if you take damage, you don't get any reward. I could also use a bit of max health here, just to ensure that I do not die during the upcoming boss fight. You want to be constantly evaluating what your current life total is, like how strong you are, so that you can comfortably deal with the next boss. That was a mistake. I accidentally stopped on the spikes there. So these are fairly straightforward, these rooms here. We deal so much damage in the early game that I just melt a lot of these enemies.
Enough to eat.
Ooh, we got a palm here. Okay. Yeah, okay, palm on the lightning strike.
Got some zest.
Pretty easy choice there. Let's see. I don't really want this because $19 is not very much, and there's a small chance that that health matters. For our Zeus attack, the palm only added I think about 3 or 4 damage, which does not sound like a lot, but you need to keep in mind that that's per shot, and with the rail, you know, we're shooting pretty quickly, and that's also per shot, and that's also bouncing to multiple enemies. So really, it's like, you know, times 5 and then times like 5 bounces. So it's actually quite a bit of damage increase. A lot more than you might think first looking at it. Okay, what do we have here? So I don't really want the Athena boon, however I need to think ahead as to what I'm going to purge at the well. Or rather, more so, I'm thinking, what do I not want purged? And I do not want the lightning strike, and I do not want the heartbreak flourish. So in that case, if I were to purge anything else, it would be probably okay. I wouldn't be too happy about the storm lightning, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Blinding flash, fine. Divine dash, I don't really want that. And blood frenzy, I don't really want an Ares boon. So I'm just going to take the health
Always a pleasure, Charon.
and be on my way.
Lovely.
How many times is it going to take, Redblood? How many? Tell me, how can you stand running into me like this over and over?
Well, habits can be hard to break. As for how many times, I've really no idea. Though I guess there's one way to find out.
I'll give you one thing. I like it when my prey bites back. Come on, let's see some blood again.
Alright, so we're up against Alecto. Alecto is the one that does very quick dashes, if I recall. When she goes into that pose that you see where she is right now, where her body's leaning forward, you have to react very quickly because she's going to dash and then fire damaging orbs to her sides. Just like that. I believe the orbs come in a later phase. part of the difficulty here is that the arena does get obscured. So if you need to take it slow, it's fine. I like to look for her glowing wings to find her. But as you can see, I can't make out very well where she is. So see, as soon as she leans forward, you gotta get ready to dodge. And there we go. Not bad. We have fantastic damage output. So the first boss should not be difficult at all. At this heat anyway. Okay, moving on.
Let's hear it, Father.
No, I didn't see you coming.
Okay, I didn't want the Ares boon, like I said earlier, so we will be purging that.
There goes that one.
I don't need health, and if you're trying to win, don't buy meta currencies. Just save your money for boons and such. Okay, and then for keepsake.
Which to choose?
So let's see. We have Zeus and we have Athena already. Sorry, Zeus and Aphrodite. Sorry, we have Zeus, Aphrodite, and Athena already. Let's see. So looking at the boon list for Aphrodite, there are a couple that are really good. So the dash is really good. Life affirmation. It's early enough that I would take this. It's pretty decent. Gives you more max health per max health increase you get. So you get it early. It gives you large. It gives you a lot of value throughout the entire run. Different league, just damage resist, which is nice, and increased weak potency, also very nice. And sweet surrender, so more damage against weak opponents, also very nice. I don't really want anything from Athena, but Poseidon boons. We would like his dash, we would like his call. Hydraulic Might is pretty decent. Boiling Point as well. Wave Pounding. Like, Poseidon has a lot of boons that are quite good. So we're going to take Poseidon's Conch Shell to force the next boon that comes our way to be from Poseidon. And we're off.
Broke out of Tartarus. Done.
Okay, max health room, which is not bad. Typically, I like ending around 200 max health or more. Gives you... Oh. Okay, so for this room, because we have the Athena dodge, we can leverage that to deflect these projectiles back. If I did not have this dodge, though, my strategy would be to stay around the perimeter and out of line of sight of my... Sorry. Basically, you don't want to be getting hit from all sides. That's how you take a lot of damage. Against projectile foes, you want to have your back to the wall.
What do we have here?
So I don't want, I don't want this boon, but I also don't want to purge it because that's purging fodder for later. When we get to the end of the area, like having that extra boon to be purged instead of the good ones that I want is very important. We have a healthy amount of max health here, so I'm going to actually take this Hermes boon. Hermes, unique god, doesn't function the same way as other ones. It functions actually like Daedalus's hammers, where the game will try to give you two boons. So if you miss a Hermes boon, or you choose not to take it, like it's not a big deal. The game will offer you another one. With these enemies, same as last time, don't let yourself get surrounded, as that's how you take a bunch of damage.
Hello, Hermes.
Hey, so I kind of placed a bet with Lord Boatman, my associate that is, that you could beat him in a fight twice in a row. No pressure or anything, but just in case you prove me right one of these days, I would appreciate it, cuz.
It's pretty funny. Okay, these two boons are not terrible. Well, they're pretty good actually. Hyper Sprint and Greater Evasion. Greater Evasion is self-explanatory. Just a flat dodge chance gives you much more effective health. You can take more hits, make more mistakes. Gives you a much better chance of winning the run. Unfortunately, it is common, so it gives you much less dodge chance than an epic would. For Hyper Sprint, so the way it works is after you dash, you get a nice big fat movement speed bonus. And then for the next a little under a second, you take 30% less damage, which is also very nice. Okay, unfortunately we have two choices that we don't want. We don't really want coin. Coin is not a good room reward because of what I said earlier. Prices are 80% more. So we will take the shop and just buy a boon. Make ourselves more powerful. Okay, the game is trolling me. It's giving me another Ares boon here. Again, I'm thinking of what I can purge. What do I not want purged? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I will be taking this Ares boon.
Should come in useful.
And he's trying to hoist his call on me, which I don't really want. But I suppose I will take.
It's war.
I don't like Ares Call because it doesn't do a whole lot of burst damage. Okay, so this mini boss here is quite nasty. So that Gorgon, if you are hit by her little balls, you'll be petrified for a moment, and then this little stomping dude will stomp on your head. Very nasty combo. Just like that. So the plan is typically to just try and evade the Stomper and focus on the Gorgon. Our Athena Deflect made that much easier because I could dash through the projectiles to be safe. And then now it's just me and the Stomper. Easy way is to put the explosive on yourself, dash out, dash back in, and then shoot him. Something important to note is that... Oh, I'll explain it later.
Realm at such a blinding speed. There's only one Olympian who moves that quick, besides myself. Where is he anyway?
Alright, we will take Hydraulic Might. 75% damage increase is pretty good for first 10 seconds. It's a decent boon overall. Okay, so when you dash, you are able to interrupt your dash with an attack. Or with a cast. When you do that, your invulnerability frames immediately end. So that means if that Stomper is coming, like if the Stomper stomps and there's a shockwave coming, I have to dash through it, and then only once I'm clear, I can attack. Very, very important. I took a lot of damage for a long time before I realized that. These guys are not particularly dangerous. So since we are a ranged weapon, we are quite a bit safer than a lot of other weapons. We can just kite backwards. We're not in a whole lot of danger. And our Hermes boon, giving us the extra speed, makes that much easier.
Let's have a look here.
The trove there for more gems if you wanted more gems. I don't. Okay. So here you would evaluate how badly are you in need of health. I'm not hurting too badly. I'm not worried that I'm going to die, so I'll just hold on to the cash. Now, of these three, so each of these currencies gives a small secondary effect. So Darkness gives +5 max HP, Key gives me 1 faded reroll, and then Gems gives me a little bit of coin. So obviously, of the three, the single reroll is by far the most powerful, so you want to take this if this is your choice. Coin is like useless. 5 max HP is not very much. Better than the coin, I'd say, but the reroll is the best. So we're just abusing our Athena dash here, dashing through these projectiles. Easy mode. Quickly run around, make sure I didn't forget anything. Okay, shop and Hermes. I don't even have enough money for a boon, so Hermes. As this is the room before the boss, it gives us a free boon. We don't have to fight anything. Okay, so these are not particularly amazing. Same issue as before. This is a common dodge boon. Not what we want. Side hustle. So how many chambers are we at now? We're at chamber 23. We have probably another maybe, well, we have another maybe 13 chambers before the end of Elysium, and then maybe another 20 from till the end of the game. So this side hustle will give us a little under 200 gold by the time we're done the next area, and maybe around 250 to 300 by the time we're at the end of the game. It's not that great when shop prices are increased like they are. Now the other aspect is that I could sell it and I would get quite a bit for selling it, and it would give me selling fodder, which is always nice. But I think I can do better. What I really want is a extra dash boon.
What else?
Okay, now these options are all quite good. Greatest Reflex gives you more dash charges. In my opinion, this is one of the strongest boons in the game. Dashing more it gives you so much more mobility, so many more options. You can sometimes crutch your way through situations just by spamming dash until you get to safety. It's very powerful. Greater Evasion, also very powerful for just 20% dodge chance on all attacks. And then Quick Favor. If I had a very good call, maybe a Zeus call or a Poseidon call, this would be a lot stronger, but I only have an Ares, which I don't like very much, so I'm gonna scratch off Quick Favor. So if this was +2 dashes, I would immediately take it, but only +1 is still very, very, very strong. However, I'm going to take the Greater Evasion, just so that I'm not crutching my way out of this, make it a little more interesting. It forces you to play much more careful with your dashes. You have to really stagger your dashes and be careful with them.
Now, prepare to die.
Okay, for Verney here, same idea as all bosses. Get your cast lodge stuff in. Get your special on him and just start beating his head in. So once he phases, little Verney spawn from the lava. And we need to take him out. So when he shoots these little purple projectiles, you want to move around the boss clockwise or counterclockwise. It's the easiest way to dodge them. So that Gatling gun there, here, I'll show it again. Just gonna do it now. Same idea, you really want to be moving counterclockwise or clockwise around him. Like that. Since I have the Athena boon, you know, I can crutch my way through it and just dash into it. That's a little too easy. Okay, here's the another phase. Often you want to be moving around the arena and killing the little skeletons where Verney isn't. He'll chase you to one end, so you go to the other and let him attack over there. That's often the best strategy, just so you're not fighting Verney in addition to the two little skeletons at once. Sorry, two little boneheads at once. Makes things easier for yourself. Just calmly move counterclockwise or clockwise around the boss. And that's
That's what you get.
one of the easier bosses in my opinion. You just have to be careful. Oh my gosh, I put down my controller. You have to be careful when you are
Sure, why not?
facing the phases where all the heads come out of the lava. If you have high damage, like we do, you can, you know, quickly clear aside, and it takes a lot of the pressure off because you're not fighting like three little... Okay, there. Yeah, so you're not fighting three enemies at once. Additionally, moving around is quite helpful. Getting Verney on one side of the arena while you're on the other makes things quite easy as well. Okay, off we go. You've got a decent amount of health here. We'll get a nice little fat heal from the fountain. And let's see what we're purging.
Can wash away my boons.
Alright, I'm gonna get rid of this dash deflect here. Makes things a little more interesting for us, though it is a very, very powerful boon. You are trying to clear 32 heat. As long as you're not, you know, developing bad habits, it's not a bad idea to take it. Okay, let's see. For our keepsakes. So we forced Poseidon. We got one Poseidon boon, which is not very impressive. Hydraulic Might, it's okay. So we have, you can only have 4 gods boons at once without forcing. You can force a 5th and you will have 5. So we have Zeus, Athena, Poseidon, and Athena, or Zeus, Aphrodite, Poseidon, and Athena. Oh, there we go. I'm going to force Artemis here. Artemis gives us a nice DPS increase. Through her critical chance, and through her Hunter's Mark, and through support fire. So she's very good for increasing our damage as we approach the later half of the game, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna get our first hammer here. Definitely want the hammer.
Right swords.
Okay, so these enemies are quite dangerous. These ones, not so much. The spear ones, though, are very dangerous. When these enemies die, they drop a little soul that you kill. But if you don't kill them, the enemy will respawn. Oh my gosh. Because these enemies are melee and we are range, the rail is much safer than a lot of melee weapons. So part of the issue with these guys is they are very fast. Because of the forced overtime heat debuff. Making them very dangerous. that's pretty much it. Keeping a little bit of range for them gives you time to react to whatever bullshit they try to do.
Some modifications to the rail are in order.
I did not mean to press that. Fuck. Okay. I actually didn't even see what options I had there. What did I take? Seeks the nearest foe, 10% damage. That's very bad. Like I mentioned earlier, your attack getting buffed is not impactful because it's just going to buff the tiny little 10 damage attack you do. You want flat damage increases. That's the powerful stuff. So that was a very bad option. I didn't see what the other two were, but oh well. I think my wire is hitting the spacebar, which is making things happen. Yeah. Alright, we will take our Artemis spoon here. Okay, so for these little cart enemies, they will charge you when they see you. And you can avoid them pretty easily by just going through them. They will stop for a few seconds. Sometimes they'll circle, sometimes they won't. Or going on the other side of terrain like that will also screw them over really hard. So I am playing a little sloppy there.
To hold on.
For these shield enemies, they will block all attacks directly in front of them. So the idea is to walk up to them, and then you'll see them wind their arm back, meaning they're going to attack.
I'd love to know about your life down there. I'll try and help you live through it this time, so that way you can tell me.
Oh, Artemis. Okay, we want pressure points here. Pressure points makes all damage 2% crit chance, which is Unfortunately, it's common rarity, but still something. Okay, what I was going to say. The shield enemies, you want to walk up to them, bait that out, and attack. So you'll see their arm wind up backwards. You dodge either through them or you dodge perpendicular, and then you get behind them and you unload in their back. That's typically the strategy you want to use. Okay, archers. They have no close range attacks, so you want to get up close and pound their heads in. And they also cannot hit through terrain. So when you see the little crosshair on Zagreus, it means they're walking on, they're going to take a shot on you. You can get behind terrain if you don't have the means to stun them or quickly kill them. Oh, I thought I had finished that one off. I didn't. It's my mistake. Okay, I'm not putting my controller down. Explosive fire is mostly useless. Flurry fire is okay. It's not terrible. It's not amazing though. It's decent. Triple bomb, same thing. It's just okay. I would have liked to see some other specials here, but take what we can get, I guess.
Let's see.
I have 57 health, so getting a little dangerous. So I will actually buy this little bit of health. It's definitely worth it. Though it's like 67, that's like maybe about a fifth of a boon. And I want this darkness, so I'm just going to quickly do this treasure trove.
There we go.
This fucking little soul was running off. Made me chase it all the way down there. So you can see the extra bombs letting you fire through in quick succession. Pretty decent. I don't like it though, that because it slows you down. You have to takes a little bit longer to cast. Here, I don't really want the coin, so I'm just gonna go to the shop, buy a boon. Unfortunately, I don't have enough for the money, or for the health and the random boon here. So I'm just going to take the random boon. Excellent. Okay, we got support fire. This is what we wanted. Another source of flat damage increase, just like our lightning bolts. So support fire, when we land where is it? When we land a hit or a special, it fires a 12 damage arrow, and you know we're constantly hitting, constantly shooting rockets. It's a lot of extra DPS. Okay, I don't know which one I want. I will take the Ares, I suppose. I don't want either of them, honestly. Okay, we got a little butterfly here. I'm going to wait until after it dashes, and then we will unload our rockets on it. And it's dead. Fortunately, the last couple of boons, the hammer and that Artemis boon, gave us a lot of damage. So we're doing pretty decent on damage now. Let's see. So I don't want slicing shot because one of my talents in the Mirror of Night is when I stick my cast into an enemy, my little red cast gem, I deal 50% increased damage to them with my attack and special, which is nice. If I take this slicing shot and turning my cast into a blade rift, I do not get that anymore, so I don't want that. Blade dash, it's okay, I guess. I still would rather have a Poseidon call or a Zeus call, but it's getting quite late in the run, and I don't think I will be getting, I don't think there's a great chance that I get those. So I'm just going to take the dash. It's not the worst, but you know, there's other stuff I'd rather have. Okay, palm. Now, as you can see, I don't have very many palms. I would love a palm on my Heartbreak Flourish, my Aphrodite special, because the first palm gives you a very, very big damage boost, or a power boost to whatever boon you put it on the first time. We're on chamber 31. I believe 36 is the boss. So we have a couple more chambers. I think I'm going to actually take the palm. There isn't very much I want from Ares. So these soldiers are very aggressive. They're actually getting some good hits on me. I need to be a little more disciplined and kite them backwards. I think I was trying a little too hard to stop them from rearming, which it's not that big of a deal if they do. These spears... Oh, I think I killed the spear. Generally the spears are the most dangerous. The spears... They have a very deceptively large amount of range. So if you're not careful, like, you won't think they're close enough, but they'll lunge forward and hit you from pretty far away. Okay, I didn't get it on my Aphrodite boon, which I wanted, unfortunately. But I will put it on my support fire, which is still pretty nice. Okay, having a little health issue, so I'm gonna buy some more health just to be on the safe side. I don't want to be burning my Death Defiances. And I will take the max health room, actually. This coin, as I said before, not very powerful, not very influential. Max health is gonna bring me up. Ooh, and we got a free fountain room. I'm going to take another max health room. I don't value coin too highly. And max health is... Max health is a bit more influential than you might think it is. So, because Death Defiances heal you for 50% of your max HP, really max health is a lot. It gives you more than you might think. Like, I'll talk about this after I finish this room. So my strategy is just kite around the room, keep lobbing rockets. What the hell hit me? I'm actually not sure. As I was saying, so max health, so I have 3 Death Defiances, 3 second lives in the bottom left. If I have like an extra 100 max HP, if I have all 3 of my Death Defiances, that's an extra 50 health because it's half of what my max health is. So if I have 100 bonus max HP, really that's 100 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50. So it's really 250 max health that I'm getting over the course of my lives. So it's worth quite a bit more than you might think. Even an Erebus Gate, which gives double rewards, it's only giving you 200 coin, which is not, it's not even enough to buy a boon. The random boon is 225, and the targeted, I think, are 275. So coin is just not very good. So we're going to take even more max health, because why not?
That ought to keep me going for a bit.
Okay, boss fight. So this is the double boss fight against Asterius and this golden fucker.
Gentlemen, I'm back.
By the gods of Olympus, you'll go no further on your wicked quest.
Quickly, before I start, the way this fight works is Theseus will drive around in his little chariot in circles, dropping bombs and shooting occasionally through the middle. You want to ignore him and just beat the shit out of Asterius, the golden bullman. Asterius is quite dangerous. Let's see, where is he? That attack in particular. When he does the little bull rush, very dangerous. You can only stop him if he runs into a wall or a pillar. And he will spin around, as you can see, to hit you. So you generally don't want him doing that very often. You'd much rather deal with his slashes, because sometimes he will curve around pillars and such. I had to use my Ares call there just to quickly dodge that. So for for Asterius, typically his combo is the quick 3 little slashes. This is his spinny attack. It's pretty easy to dodge, you just stay out of range. Oh, I can't even see him sometimes. And sometimes he does the 3 little ground pounds. If you time your dashes correctly, you can safely just dash through it. He will only ever either do 1 slam or 3 slams, never 2. So he did 1 right there. Let's see if I can bait him into doing... Oh, he's dashing. Okay, there we go. Let's see if I can bait him into doing 3 slams. It's 1. Nope. Come on. Now he's doing his big spin. Anyway, basically you need to keep in mind that he's only going to do either 1 or 3. And, you know... oh, here's the... and stagger your dashes accordingly. You don't want to be blowing all your dashes, because if he does 3 slams, you're going to get hit. So Theseus can be kind of hard to hit with the rockets, you know, because he's just spinning around and around in his chariot. You want to prioritize buffing yourself with the rockets instead. So now he will call on the gods for boons. We have our speed from Hermes, so we can quickly dash through it safely. And this phase of the fight is very easy. What you can do is save your call for this phase of the fight, and you can probably just kill him as soon as the phase starts, as soon as he starts calling for God's help. We will salute our one shade that cheers for us here and be on our way. Theseus, not particularly hard. Asterius is always the real threat of that fight. if you have invulnerability calls like I did, you can use it to ensure that you're not getting hit when he does his bull charge. A bull charge is by far the most dangerous move he has, because he comes at you very quickly. Sometimes he will curve around pillars, or like he'll slide off the wall and not collide with it. And he can land some really cheap hits on you. Okay, let's see what we're purging.
Let's think about this.
I would rather not purge my hydraulic might, but I'm going to do it. I only have one faded reroll, and if I get something bad, like there's a lot there's other stuff I can get that I would not want to give up, like pressure points or support fire. I would be very unhappy if I gave up pressure points. Hydraulic might is very good in the next region because it's a lot of short fights, so it's going off very rapidly because it's every encounter. But unfortunately we're gonna have to give it up. Oh well. Okay, and then for our final area, we want... So, if you take hard labor, which makes enemy attacks deal more damage, the acorn here, which negates the first 5 hits in a boss room, becomes much more powerful. Because the 5 hits that you're going to take from Hades are going to be very heavy hits. And you'll be blocking lots and lots of damage. We don't have hard labor on, and if you don't have it on, I would recommend the Tooth over it normally. Tooth gives you an extra death defiance for 100 HP, which is quite nice. So we'll take Tooth. And we don't want any of these, and we will be on our way.
To the surface. Check.
Okay. Ooh, these are some pretty good boons to buy. I'm probably going to buy both of these.
I think I see a fish.
Nice little fishing spot here. The way the fishing spot works... Oh, that was quick. You can either get a real tug, which is when the lure goes deep under, or you can get a little a little false positive, which is when the lure just kind of blips a little bit. You have to pull it on the real one. If you pull it on the fake one, you don't get anything. Okay, so let's think about what we want here. The way these tunnels work is you have on the second pathway and up, you have a chance to get the Satyr Sack that you want. So you'll never get it first try on the first path, but you may get it on the second path. And the more paths you go through that you don't get it, the higher your chance increases. And you'll eventually get the 5th path no matter what. Okay, so we actually want a bit of coin here, so we can get those buffs down there. Right now, I'm eyeing the Athena, the coin, and the palm the most. So I'm going to take the mini boss rooms first, because there's also a healing fountain when we get the... and then get the item that we need to progress. Okay, so these tunnels, typically you just spam what you have in there and use a little bit of cover, try and stun your enemies. If I had Poseidon Dash, that stuns your enemies. This would be much easier, but I don't, unfortunately. the tiny vermin. So for this thing, the biggest difficulty is that you can't actually see it. What I do is typically I will walk up to it, I will assume it's going to attack me, and I will just dash to the side. And that is how I deal with the tiny vermin. And it works out pretty well, actually, that strategy. And there goes the tiny vermin. Kind of just lobbing my stuff at it.
I much prefer the gigantic vermin, thanks.
Okay, let's see here. So because this was a mini boss room, we get a double palm, so 2 levels. I think I might put this in the blade dash, actually. If I had a hunter's mark, it interacts with crit. I would maybe upgrade pressure points instead, but aside from that, I'm just going to upgrade the blade dash. It's almost doubling the blade dash damage, which it does add up actually. If an enemy takes a couple procs from these little spinning blades. Okay, off we go.
Need to keep looking down those passageways.
I'm going to take this Artemis boon. Okay, so this is Hunter's Mark. That's what the boon I was just talking about. When you crit, an enemy nearby will have increased critical chance, which is really good in the final boss. The other option is Hunter's Instinct, which gives you faster God Gauge charge on crit damage. It's not bad, but we don't have a whole lot of crit chance, so I'm just going to go with Hunter's Mark. It is a common rarity, unfortunately, but I still take it. Okay, so we need just a little bit more gold. We'll probably get the gold through just this room here.
Should check this way.
So we're going to take Aphrodite's room. You see we just deal so much damage. We just melt some of these enemies. Now, these enemies, the satyrs, they essentially just blow darts at you, poisonous darts. It can be kind of annoying to dodge, because as you can see, it's kind of like a staggered cone. They don't come out all at once. The best way I've found is to try and dash through them, if you can. You can hear they make a little retching sound as they're throwing it, but sometimes the audio gets lost in the combat and you can't hear it. So generally I like to... I got poisoned. Yeah, when you get poisoned you have to go to those little dishes to cure it. Generally I like to look at their model, and when they lean back, like look at their feet. They do this little lean back before they actually fire. That's usually what I look for. And we're good. That's the end.
In the name of Hades.
Okay, so these two boons are very, very good. I will be taking Smoldering Air, but Broken Resolve it makes your weak effects more potent. So a weak enemy will deal 40% less damage instead of 30, which is very, very good. Ups the amount of damage you can take. So in the final boss, like having a bunch of extra HP increases your chance of winning by a huge amount. However, Smoldering Air makes your God Gauge charge up 5% per second, which is really, really nice. Since we have an invulnerability call, the Ares call, it's not the most ideal one, but it's still an invulnerability call. So it'll make it available very frequently, which is excellent for us. There are certain attacks that we can use it to very reliably dodge, which is fantastic. Okay.
Pleasure doing business.
Yeah, these are not very good. Life Affirmation is pretty good, but only if you get it early on in the run. Here, we're at the end of the run. An extra life gain for just one Centaur Heart is very useless. It doesn't give very much, so I'm gonna roll this.
Let's see what else.
We'll do Sweet Surrender. Flat 10% damage increase against weak opponents, which is not amazing, but it's okay. Okay, and then for the final door, I'm gonna actually take this max HP.
This one, I guess.
Well, I shouldn't say final door. It's possible I have to go through another few.
Should be
And
useful.
on that note, I will buy the health just as a safety measure in case this isn't the last path that I have to take. You want to be covering your bases.
Can't do that.
Okay, we got lucky. We got our
It's just louse. Whatever this stuff is.
Centaur sack in this chamber, and at this point, I think it would be more dangerous than not to try and get other boons, because we're probably going to be entering the final fight with less than max HP. Coin won't give us anything, so we'd just be doing it for an Ares buff. Not worth it.
The prince persuades the underworld's ferocious guardian to move aside.
Nova said on phone, frowning face with open mouth.
Thank you, boy.
What the fuck was that? Okay, we vanquished Cerberus by feeding him snacks. And off we go to fight Hades.
Crisp, cold air.
You have circumvented all of my security measures again. But can you get through me?
Okay, now we're here against Hades fight. So this fight has multiple phases when you deplete his health bar. So right off the bat, I'm going to want to... Oh, that's not good. Okay, so Hades, he has a couple movesets. So the first is that he throws this skull into you, which functions the same way as our cast does. We take extra damage if he hits us while that's inside of us. His other attack is to throw his... Oh my gosh, I'm getting hit by that. Is to throw his spear, which is probably his most dangerous attack because of how fast it is. Oh, unfortunately that skull blew up, and that's what happens. A shockwave is unleashed. Normally I like to stay close to Hades because he does this spin attack. When you know what's coming, it's significantly easier to dodge, and when you're near him, he likes doing the spin more.
Wretches back where they belong.
So part of the issue is these mini bosses, they're actually quite dangerous, and it's why I think the first phase is the deadliest phase. They can be quite irritating. He hit me with a good spear there. Alright, so for the spear attack, I watch his arm. When he winds his arm back, you know, that's when he's going to be throwing his spear. So you just dodge perpendicular. Same with the stab actually, but the stab I find is more clear when it's coming. You can see his footprints in the snow and he's invisible. So stay close to him. You'd have to memorize the spin pattern, but it's fairly consistent. He will spin at you, and you'll see the little outline before it comes out. And then you'll see another one, you just dash through it again. So here we got the Gorgon. Gotta be careful, this thing's actually quite dangerous. While I'm kiting through, I'm staying near Hades to try and bait out his little spin attack. Oh, I did not see the timer on that one. That one got me. So one other option is to ignore the mini bosses and just focus down Hades. With the rail, you can absolutely do that. I was trying to extend the fight a little bit, just so you can see his moveset a little bit more there, and how I handle it. Alright, so phase 2 now begins the urns and the lasers. With the lasers, you use these little pillars to cover, and with the urns, if you're hit by that, you get stunned. Very, very dangerous. So when you see him winding up, you just identify the closest pillar and get yourself behind it. It's a lot of double tasking. Is you want to be watching you want to be watching the vases, you want to be watching his little AoEs, his arms, so you can dodge appropriately. Now's the healing phase, so he begins sucking the life from the urns. So if you destroy the urns, he does not get as much of a healing. Ooh, he got me there. So that's my first death defense. Keep in mind that because I have the boon that gives me a fast call charge, if there's any attacks I'm not secure about hitting, I can always just use my Ares call and invulnerability my way through it. So for this, move to the bottom right, generally safe, though sometimes it will follow you. If I timed that a little better, I could have used the Ares call right at the end and ensured I didn't take any damage. So here, you'll see he likes to do his little slash combo, and if I'm out of range, he'll throw his spear. Here I use the call just to get into a better position. Just end the phase. And then here's phase 3. So this is dangerous because a lot of these auxiliary effects, like the skulls and the vases, you can't see well anymore because the area is dark. I will use the call there to get behind the pillar. So I want to go around and handle these skulls before they become a problem.
Be careful where you step. Darkness.
You need to be careful that things don't escalate where you can't control the map anymore and you're just getting like comboed between the stuff. See, like that vase was in where I wanted to be. Okay, that was my third Death Defiance. It's getting a little close, actually. And there it is. During the third phase,
You owe this victory to all your relatives.
I think it's really important that you control the arena. You don't want to be in the position where there's skulls that are ticking down, where there's vases behind your pillars, and then Hades starts channeling a laser, and then you're like, what do I do? On this run, our damage was okay. We were missing a couple important boons. A Poseidon dash would have been great. Do we get? Yeah, we did get Hunter's Mark, but it's a low-level Hunter's Mark. The Jolted Zeus boon would have also been fantastic. And when you have more damage like that, it's a lot easier to control the battlefield. You can burst things down very quickly. Which is also why Poseidon's boon is Poseidon's Call is so good, because you have lots and lots of burst damage that the boon is giving you. So overall, not bad. I took a lot of hits because I was trying to explain things as I'm playing, which is actually a little challenging, but I think I did an okay job of things. My throat is quite sore because this is the second take. Unfortunately, the first was having audio issues, so I had to redo a run, commentate over it. But yeah, pretty decent.
Horned creatures are familiar to Zagreus, having fought countless satyrs and the like. But he discovers this time that not even satyrs possess the sheer, ferocious power of a startled mountain goat. No.
Not bad at all, really.
Alright, well, I will call it here. Hopefully this was, this run has better audio. It's more clear. So yeah, I'll call it here. Thanks.